everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to give some background and context in terms of why I am changing my channel focus. So for my last video, which I posted I think 8 or 9 months ago, I've really been struggling in terms of where to focus my attention. So I've spent the past couple of months just doing some soul searching and figuring out, okay, if you look at your YouTube watch history, what are the type of videos that you are the majority of the time, the overwhelming majority of the time watching? And it was so clear that it was all about personal finance, specifically content around pursuing FIRE, which is financial independence, retire early. Genuinely enjoy that content and it excites you to go on your own personal FIRE journey. So I decided to just focus my channel going forward on my personal path to FIRE, but I wanted to give it from a different perspective because there's quite a few channels out there that focus on FIRE. The demographic that I wasn't seeing was single parent, so a single person who has a child or children. I wasn't getting that perspective, or just seeing anyone who's in a similar situation like me as a single parent going down this path to FIRE. So I said, you know what? I'm going to put myself out there and be that single parent that is pursuing FIRE and going to document the roller coaster, which I'm 100% sure it will be as I go along this journey. So just to give a little background about my information about me, I am a single parent. I am currently 38 years old. I live in New York City, so that adds another complexity to my road to FIRE because I do live in an extremely high cost of living area, and I have a 3-year-old daughter. It's also complex to her because she's also special needs. She has severe autism, so that my FIRE journey has to be for the both of us, because right now, unless something drastically changes, which of course I'm still hopeful, I'm still really hoping that happens, she will probably live with me for the duration of her life. With that, there's a couple accounts that I'm going to focus on this channel. So right now, the 3 accounts that I'm going to highlight on a weekly basis is one, my M1 finance account, and that account is meant to be my bridge account. So I'm trying to build that account up now because I started on this whole FIRE journey really late in life, in my late 30s. And again, I'm doing it by myself on one income. So I can only move as fast as I can, right? So I'm just gonna focus on building up that FIRE bridge account, and I'll be showing the weekly updates on that. I'll be showing my real numbers. I was hesitant around showing real numbers because I just wasn't sure if it's like a safety issue, but I know personally I really appreciate the channels that show their real numbers, because for somebody to give like a hypothetical situation or like hypothetical account balances, to me, I'm like, I mean, yeah, anyone can, I mean, I can say I have $500,000 in the bank, right? Like, it doesn't mean anything unless you can show the record showing that you actually do have a $500,000 in the bank. So in the path of like true transparency, I am going to show my real account with the real balance in it, so that, you know, for other single parents or just anyone who's on this FIRE journey can just see what a normal everyday person like me is experiencing and doing as I go down this path. So that will be the M1 finance account I'll be highlighting weekly. The second account I'll be highlighting weekly is my daughter's 529 plan. So like I mentioned before, my daughter is special needs. So if you're wondering, why do you have a 529 plan for her? I think because she's 3 years old right now, so she still is fairly young. Not really sure developmentally what's going to happen with her. So I'm still keeping this account as a 529 plan. my plan right now is, if she doesn't significantly improve over the next 2 years, so until she gets to 5 years old, I'm going to convert that 529 plan to an ABLE investing account. And an ABLE account is a specific account for individuals with disability that you can contribute to, invest that money, and it just grows over time to help care for that individual. So that's going to be the ultimate plan with that 529 if, again, I don't see significant improvements. And then the third account I'll be highlighting is my Ally savings account, specifically the amount I have saved for a home down payment. So the next big life purchase in my life is to buy a home, which is, don't get me started with living in really expensive New York City and just how ridiculous the prices are. So the neighborhood I live in, for instance, the homes here start at like 1.5 million, 1.8 million. Like it's a totally ridiculous number that okay, I'm gonna stop there because then I'm going to go down a rant. What I am going to be focusing on buying in New York City is something called a co-op, not a condo. They're totally different. So co-ops are quote unquote affordable housing options in New York City. And I giggle because nothing is affordable in New York City. So right now I'm targeting a 2-bedroom, 1-bath co-op in the borough of Queens. And I'm looking at a $400K budget. I know $400K could actually buy like a legit house with like 3 bedrooms, 2-bath, backyard, basement, like everything in so many other places. But unfortunately, $400,000 just gets you like an apartment style co-op, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, if you're lucky. And of course, you'll need to go in and like completely renovate the place. That's what it is in New York City. So I'm targeting $400,000. Now, the requirements for co-ops are also ridiculous. Co-ops, you need to have a minimum of 20%. I wish it was 20,000. 20% down payment, ideally 25% down payment towards the co-op. That's a minimum down payment requirement. You cannot go below that. So if you think about a $400,000 co-op, well, that means you need to have $80,000 like hard cash just for the down payment. We're not talking about closing costs. We're not talking about your moving costs. We're not talking about any renovations you want to do. We're not talking about the 2-year like cash reserves that they want you to have. This is just the bare bones like down payment that you need to have. Money that you're saving is just sitting in the savings account doing nothing, not earning you any money, losing value, right, because of inflation. So because of that, I said, okay, let's really focus on saving for that home down payment, and let's try our best to buy a co-op in 2024. So I plan to kick off my co-op home buying purchase in January of 2024. So last type of video I will be updating, this one will be on a monthly basis, is my net worth. So net worth is your total assets minus your total liabilities equals your net worth. So I'll be sharing that on a monthly basis. The good news is that I don't have any debt. I'm a big fan of Dave Ramsey. I know that name can be very controversial, but he has really inspired me to pay off all of my debt. So I actually paid off all of my debt. That was student loans, credit cards, back in 2019. So I've been debt-free for, is that 3 years, or a little over 3 years at this point, and I have no desire to go back in it, except for a mortgage, because I just don't have enough cash to pay for a house in cash. Otherwise, I would, trust me. Now, for anyone who's curious in terms of like, what's your FIRE number? So my traditional FIRE number is $1.1 million. I can't even say that word with a straight face, because I just can't even like think of the day when I would like check my bank account or like check my investment accounts and it's like over $1 million. I mean, that's gonna be so freaking awesome and I can't wait. But yes, it's $1.1 million. That's my traditional FIRE account, my traditional FIRE number. But what I'm aiming for ideally is Barista Fire, which is where I work part-time and then my investments I would draw down on my investments to cover the other half of my expenses. So my Barista Fire number is a little over $500,000. I will talk to you soon. Bye.